Mr. Kingston, do you have anything left to say? Only the truth.
Your Honor, I'm here for the defense.
You're too late.
Solomon Kingston had spent his entire life building things that were meant to last. Long before people knew his name, he was just another construction worker with rough hands, worn boots, and a second-hand pickup that broke down almost every month. Money was always short, but he never complained. As long as he could work, he believed tomorrow would be better. Then life changed forever. His wife, Josephine, became seriously ill. For 18 long months, Solomon sold everything he could just to keep paying the hospital bills. But despite every sacrifice, he still lost the woman he loved most. Before she closed her eyes for the last time, she held his hand and whispered, "Build something that outlasts you." Those words became the reason he refused to give up. He worked before sunrise and long after sunset. One small remodeling job became two. To become a construction crew. Years later, that crew grew into Kingston Construction, one of the most respected companies in the state. Solomon never forgot where he came from. He paid his workers fairly, remembered every employee's name, and believed a person's character mattered more than their bank account. But the greatest thing he ever built wasn't a company. It happened one freezing December night. Driving home after inspecting a construction site, Solomon stopped at a small gas station to buy coffee. Near the ice machine, he noticed a little girl sitting alone on the curb. She couldn't have been more than 10 years old. She wore a thin jacket that wasn't warm enough for the weather, and beside her sat a worn grocery bag holding everything she owned. She wasn't crying. That was the part Solomon couldn't forget. Children usually cried when they were scared. She simply stared at the ground as if she had already accepted that no one was coming. Instead of walking away, Solomon quietly walked over and knelt so they were at the same height. "What's your name?" he asked gently. The little girl looked at him for a long moment before answering. "Haley, have you eaten today?" She slowly shook her head. A few minutes later, they were sitting together inside a small 24-hour diner. Solomon ordered pancakes and hot chocolate while the little girl looked around as though she couldn't believe someone had chosen to stay with her. That simple dinner changed both of their lives. Over the following months, Solomon completed every legal step needed to give Haley a real home. It wasn't quick or easy, but he never considered giving up. The day she officially became his daughter, Solomon smiled wider than he had in years. As Haley grew older, he never taught her how to become rich. He taught her how to become kind. He reminded her that honesty was worth protecting, promises mattered, and the strongest people use their strength to protect others. Years passed. Haley graduated at the top of her class and eventually became a lawyer, determined to stand beside people who had no one left to defend them. Watching it, the courtroom had already decided the outcome before the judge spoke a single word. Solomon Kingston sat alone, watching 40 years of hard work slip away. His own attorney had withdrawn, believing there was no way to defeat the mountain of evidence presented against him. Just as the judge prepared to continue, the courtroom doors opened. A young woman walked in carrying a worn leather case. She looked directly at Solomon and smiled. "Dad, I made it." For a moment, Solomon couldn't speak. Haley had ignored his request to stay away. She had flown across the country after discovering the lawsuit and spent her sleepless nights reviewing every document. She wasn't there to argue. She was there to uncover the truth. After receiving permission to speak, Haley calmly placed several documents before the judge. "The signature isn't the biggest problem," she explained. "The document itself tells a different story." She pointed to a tiny detail almost everyone had missed. The contract had been created using a digital typeface that didn't even exist. On the date printed on the document, the entire courtroom fell silent. Next came the computer activity records. They showed the so-called original. Designed files had actually been created only months earlier using Grayson Fairchild's own company account. Every confident expression in the courtroom slowly disappeared. Then, Haley revealed one final document. It was Grayson's own employment agreement, signed on his first day at Kingston Group years earlier. In plain language, it confirmed that every company design already belonged to Solomon Kingston before Grayson had ever joined the business. The lawsuit collapsed in seconds. The judge carefully reviewed every exhibit before looking toward Grayson. "What explanation do you have for this?" Grayson had none. The silence said everything. Within minutes, the court ruled completely in Solomon Kingston's favor. The false claims were dismissed, and the evidence was immediately referred for a formal fraud investigation. As people slowly left the courtroom, Solomon remained seated. Not because he was defeated, but because he was overwhelmed. Haley walked over and gently hugged him. "I'm sorry I didn't listen," she whispered. Solomon smiled through tears. "I'm glad you didn't." Outside the courthouse, reporters surrounded them, asking how it felt to save $1 billion company. Solomon looked proudly at his daughter before answering. "I didn't save anything today," said he. "I gave a lonely little girl a home many years ago. Today, she gave me my name back. Some people build buildings. Some people build businesses. But the greatest thing anyone can ever build is a family that never stops showing up when it matters most."